Hello, and welcome to another episode of New Gameplay Today. I'm your host, Jeff Cork, joined today by Matt Miller.
Hello.
And Leo Veter.
Hi.
How's it going?
That's fine.
What are we looking at, Matt Miller?
This is a game called Aztez. Aztez, not Aztec.
Okay.
But it is about the Aztecs. And it's pretty neat. This is a game that is already out. That's weird.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's weird. Why are we talking about it today then?
Is this just an episode of Gameplay Today?
No, this is new gameplay today,
All right.
Jeff.
If you say so.
The reason we're talking about it is because this game is coming out soon for consoles. What consoles, you might ask?
Yes.
PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch.
Oh, on the go.
Oh.
All right.
And it is already out on Steam. On PC, you can play this game.
Right. And as you may have noticed by the UI, we're playing this on PlayStation 4.
That's right. This is a game that I think it was chronically unnoticed upon its initial release.
Okay.
I've been playing some of the console version and the PC version in recent days, and it is a blast. It's really fun.
Okay.
It's like a combo-driven action game a la Devil May Cry or
The Dishwasher.
Bayonetta or Dishwasher.
Yeah.
Right? Where everything is focused on, building up your score and playing in a very particular way during combat. But then on top of that, you have this whole hex-based strategy thing where you're expanding the Aztec Empire.
Okay.
So you can see right now as I float around the map, I have one Aztez. That was basically my turn because I can't go and do these other battles now because I've used up my Aztez, my warrior.
Okay.
So I now just have to end the turn.
And you have to wait for your stamina to recharge. Come back in 4 hours.
Well, yeah, exactly. No, that's not exactly true. This is not one of those kinds of games. You can kind of keep on playing it through from beginning to end. It's sort of a roguelite in that you're meant to play through the campaign multiple times. And you unlock new cosmetic things and that kind of stuff. But the main focus is these battles and getting good at all of the different combat moves that you can do.
Now, Miller, I can't help but notice there's blood.
There's a little bit of blood.
Yeah, I have an eye for these kind of details. Pay attention, Leo.
You're really doing well here.
Thank you.
So, I killed those guys.
It says victory on screen.
I win.
Right?
Yeah, good job, Leo.
The black and white aesthetic of the game allows you to really be able to focus your attention on the movements of your character and accentuates the bloody brutality of the game.
Okay.
That's at least the developer's goal. One of the things that I have discovered about the game is that
who's that pretty lady, by the way? I'm distracted.
And so like here I can have this is by the way a brand new playthrough, so I don't have anything unlocked.
Okay.
But on my main guy I'd have like different types of outfits I could put on and that kind of thing.
Additional loincloths, presumably.
Additional loincloths, which is always great. You have different gods you can call upon to help you in battle that unlock over time. But let's do this. So I've got my different agents that I can send out into the world, the princess, the assassin, the conjurer, and the general, and each of them are going to do something helpful for me. So let's use the princess, the charming princess. We're going to activate that, and we'll just pull a new city into our empire. This uses up some of my resources, which have been gathered by how big my empire is. So you constantly want to grow your empire and get more stuff. Impressed by the size of the empire, I got a new Aztez.
Excellent.
Which allows me to do something else on my turn. So let's go in and fight this.
Now, to put you on the spot, Miller, I would like you to pronounce all the names of all the characters that are appearing on screen.
Well, cultists of Tlaloc are occupying the temple of Huitzilopochtli and threatening to reclaim it in Tlaloc's name. Cut them down before that guy abandons us.
Okay.
Not going to go 2 for 2 on that.
Yeah.
If I say it twice, I'm going to be in trouble.
You summon him, I believe.
That's what happens. So the more I play of this combo-driven action system, the more I am impressed by its flexibility, its challenge, and and all of the different ways that I can maximize my score.
Okay.
If that kind of thing doesn't appeal to you, I don't know that you would like Aztez. If you don't like the idea of constantly trying to find ways to string together combos and do different combat moves.
What's the advantage of getting a really large combo?
Well, you're competing with your own score. Remember, it is like a roguelite, right? So you're going to see your finished playthrough at the end of the game, and see how you did compared to your last run.
Okay.
But you're also trying to do different things because they are of benefit. So down at the bottom right, you can see I could have tried to perform 2 god attacks
in that
to get a secondary objective, which would sometimes get me more resources or unlock a new cosmetic look. I didn't do that stuff, so when it pops up here, you'll see I did win the battle, but I didn't get the bonus. I didn't perform the 2 god attacks.
Right.
You're over the course of the game, you're actually kind of trying to change history, is the idea. You want the Aztec Empire not to fall. Eventually, in the late game, as you go through these turns, once you get up above turn 10, right now we're in turn 3.
Right.
And of course, the turns get longer as you have more Aztezes and there's more battles to fight and that kind of thing. But after turn 10, the Spanish arrive.
Okay.
Cortez arrives with his rifles and his horses, and we have to fight them. And so I'm trying to get the Empire into as good of a shape as I can before that happens.
Now, is there, like, you have played this before, is there any indication that is happening on your first playthrough? Or are you just going to be taken completely by surprise after turn 10?
You're kind of taken by surprise. It does tell you that you're preparing the Empire for a terrible disaster to come.
Okay.
And so it's pretty clear that you should be trying to do stuff to make the world better. Or make the world more brutal in some cases. This is not a game that pulls its punches, either figuratively or literally. It's very bloody.
Yeah.
And you're definitely doing stuff like this, where you sacrifice dudes in the middle of a battle, and then you ritualistically pull their blood in so that you can perform god summons.
It looks like that healed you? Is that what's going on? That meter, the white, is that your health, or is the red your health?
Well, you've got I'm sorry, which part are you looking at?
You have 2 meters. You've got like a vessel full of blood.
Yes, you've got your vessel full of blood that you're slowly gathering more blood into to perform these super powerful attacks. But you also have like a health meter.
Okay, and that's the white one.
So there, I did sacrifice 2 enemies, so I got a common item. So now here, not only do the resources not get stolen, but I get to choose one of these things that can help me out in the fight. Whenever a new Aztez comes up, pro tip, you want the new Aztez.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Having a whole nother battle that you can do on any given turn is really huge.
Oh, cool.
So now I'm going to activate that. And now I could go do another fight. Now, each one of these fights I can look at ahead of time and decide what I want to do. So here I can see which enemies I'm going to fight, what the consequences are. Sometimes if I lose, my main guy won't die. Like, I can go and fight in these ritualistic festivals, and they will not, they won't die if I lose that, but I maybe won't get as many resources.
Right.
And you can also think about what you might be able to do. Sometimes it might have, for instance, like, you need to be able to do 3 counters in this fight. And if you're not very good at counters, then you'd be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I'll go do the other one, where I'm more likely to be able to get the bonus objective.
Are you good at doing the counters, to be honest?
I'm not great at the counters. I think that's one of the hardest things in the game to do. Like a lot of games, you do counters by, like, at the last second, throwing up your shield. And so let's see if I can get it.
Oh, you're great at counters. You're the best.
I did it.
You did it.
But there's a lot about, like, aerial, as the game goes on, especially once you get up to the point that the Spanish have invaded, they start having these rifles that they're shooting, and so you almost constantly have to be up in the air.
Do they bring their horses into battle
They
too?
do.
Uh-oh.
And the horses charge across the screen.
Can you punch the horse?
I have not figured out how to do anything with the horses. I think they just hurt me.
Okay.
Which is not the greatest. But I will say that this is a imminently replayable game. I've been having a blast over recent days, just kind of going through, and here we have a rite of passion. Going through
that out, Leo.
and just going through the fights, trying to get better. Trying to get to the end. I still haven't won after several runs through. The late game gets very challenging.
Yeah.
But here, let's go ahead and pop that one fertility idol. Oh, it doesn't want me to do that? Oh, it can't be used during drought. Is it drought right now, maybe?
There's drought.
Yep.
Okay, so we can just go do this one instead. There's also an arena mode for the game. If you don't really care about the strategy stuff, but you're just mainly interested in honing your combat skills, or really that's the only part about the game that you like, then you can just do that stuff, and there's an escalating series of combat challenges. But no joke, I mean, you're seeing me kind of like mow through most of these guys. The later fights are brutally difficult.
Yeah. You fight like big screen-filling enemies, or are they generally comparable in size to you?
They are generally comparable. A few of them start to be kind of like the bigger versions of any given unit type. So there's the guys who punch, and the guys the priests who use magic. There's the guys who use swords, and the guys who use sword and shield. There's different types of possibilities there, but they escalate in the tier of their challenge. So the high-end guys who use spears are really, really hard to beat. But the whole thing kind of plays out like that. There's nothing too complicated that we're not showing off other than the late game.
Right.
But it is fun to kind of go through. There's kind of a story component. You know, you can kind of see this dark priest is your leader, and he's sending you out to, you know, if there's a plague in a town, for instance, he just sends you to kill all the people who have the plague so that it doesn't spread. He's not really interested in healing them. But that's about the limit of the story stuff.
Right.
But there's some secrets in the game that are interesting to uncover, that are ways to quote-unquote like beat the game beyond just, you know, stopping the Spanish. There's things like dealing with the emperor of the Aztec Empire itself that becomes a thing that can sometimes pop up depending on the items that you get in the game. There's another sequence where you can go down into the Aztec underworld and fight the lord of the underworld, I think.
Okay.
That is kind of neat.
That answered my question, which was, are they all people that you're fighting and horses?
They're pretty much all people-like.
So you fight some spooky monsters?
But eventually some of them are starting to push the boundaries of, you know, these guys are using magic and that kind of stuff.
Okay. I like how those guys you just fought were floating.
Yes.
Which typically you don't see very often.
You don't see that too often. Not too frequently in everyday life.
Yeah.
But I like the expanding empire thing. I like where you're having to pay attention to multiple things here. So I've got, maybe I want to like grow my population of Tenayuka here. Well, no, I don't want to do that because I don't own that one. So how about Tepeyac?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Sure.
And now that's maybe gonna get me some more resources.
Have you run into situations where like just blowing it on this layer of the game is a huge problem, or as long as you're doing pretty well in combat, you're going to be all right?
I would say you need to pay attention to the strategy stuff. If you let things get away from you in the Empire, like for instance, if there is dissent and you let dissent spread, that's bad news.
So you've got to do the right battles to stop that when it's happening?
Yeah, so if there is a battle that lets you stop dissent in a particular place, then you should do that. Here, I'll do a god attack here.
Whoa, you should do that always.
It's God.
Yeah, well, I have to get my blood vial filled first by doing terrible sacrifices to the...
It's only natural.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When you grab someone like that, can you throw them behind you and other guys?
You can push them off into, so I can do this and just push them, and that will do a small amount of damage to the enemies around me. so I threw them both in both directions. But a lot of the combo focused gameplay is about managing multiple opponents at once. They will not wait as you do something. So if you're sitting there trying to sacrifice a dude, then somebody else will come and attack you, unless you do something first to like fling them up into the air, so they're currently up in the air and can't attack you while you sacrifice this other guy.
Right.
So I take it there are no invincibility frames when you're doing that kind of stuff. You get knocked out of it?
I don't think there's anything like that. There are situations like during the god attacks where you're basically invincible for a few seconds.
I have another question.
Yeah.
This is better than Leo's question.
I have a question after Jeff Clark's question.
Well, we'll see.
Wow, this is going to be...
This is escalating now. So, your character, do you have all of your moves available from the beginning? I noticed you had some gear. Are those primarily stat buffs, or do they grant you new abilities?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Thank
you
you.
have...
It was okay.
It was pretty good. I give it an 8 out of 10 as far as questions
That's all I'm
go.
going for.
You have all of the moves available from the beginning.
Okay.
But Jeff,
Oh, sorry.
there's a big but here.
Thank you.
You don't have all your weapons in the beginning.
Okay.
As you unlock different weapons as you play through the game, you get to pick your starting weapon. That's one of the few things that you do get to start out with. That and some of the cosmetics that you've unlocked. And so starting with the spear versus starting with the sword leads to different moves that are available to you in that sense.
Got it.
But you always have... It's not like you're unlocking other moves as you go. It's more that you're getting access to the other weapons as you go.
Okay.
Leo, 8 out of 10 question from Jeff. You need to beat that.
Okay.
All right. We'll see.
You said earlier this was a roguelite. Can you go more into what kind of elements transfer between runs? I believe you mentioned costumes?
Yeah, the
More
main
of a
things
prompt
that
than a question.
the main things that transfer are the cosmetic outfits that you've got. So you've got all these different ways that you can make your dude look that don't really have any effect. Your weapons, if you've unlocked a weapon, you can choose it as your starting weapon.
Interesting.
And then later on in any given playthrough, you have access to unlocking some of the other weapons. The gods that you've unlocked do not carry over between sessions, so you have to re-unlock those each time.
That was really interesting information that my question got for us.
Yeah, I give it 8.75 reluctantly.
Yes!
Yeah, so that's Aztez. I think this is a game that not enough people played when it came out on PC. I'm really glad that it's coming to console because I think it is, for one, it's a controller game that will transfer well to consoles.
Right.
It was built with controllers in mind. But it also just is a very playable, fun, quick game to get into, but with a lot of depth to its combat system that I think people will enjoy learning more about over time.
Yeah. Plus history.
Yeah, it's totally real history.
Yeah, exactly.
So it has that going for
So
it
you
too.
can play it in school.
That's right. I would encourage all the students out there to take this into their history class and say, Mr. Cork, can I play this instead of taking that test today?
Say, teacher, I dare you to give me an incomplete. And watch what happens. All right. Well, Miller, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Leo,
very much.
thank you so much. I'm sorry things got a little heated there. But
We're still friends.
Yeah, exactly. Best of friends. And thank you for watching, everybody. And bye-bye.